If you're a man over 60 and you've noticed your manhood isn't as strong as it used to be, if you wake up feeling drained, sluggish, and disappointed in the bedroom, then stop for a moment and listen closely. What I'm about to share might go completely against everything you've been told. Trust me, you don't need more pills. You don't need to push yourself harder, and you definitely don't have to accept this as just another part of aging. Here's the surprising truth. The solution could be as simple as a single vitamin, but it must be taken at the right time, and that time is before bed. When used this way, the results can be almost immediate. I've seen it happen time and time again, even in men who thought their best days were behind them. My name is Professor David Karim, a leading urologist and men's health expert in the United States. For more than 3 decades, I've helped thousands of men reclaim their energy, restore their confidence, and rebuild intimacy, often without relying on medication. The secret lies in working with your body's natural biology and rhythms. Here's what no one is talking about. Most men are taking their vitamins at the wrong time of day, unknowingly disrupting their sleep, lowering testosterone, and weakening blood circulation. That's why so many wake up tired, disconnected, and far from their best selves. But here's the good news. Just one small change in timing can transform everything. In today's video, I'll reveal the specific vitamin I recommend for men over 60, one that helps improve firmness, supports deeper sleep, and restores lasting energy. More importantly, you'll discover why taking it at night can be the single most powerful step you make toward reclaiming your manhood. Stay with me, because in just a moment, I'll show you what begins to happen inside your body on night 1, after 2 weeks, and after 30 days, how you'll know the comeback has officially begun. But before we dive in, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a science-backed health tip designed specifically for men over 60. If this message speaks to you, drop a 1 in the comments below. If not, type 0 and let me know how I can better support your health and masculinity going forward. Now let's get started with the one vitamin I trust above all others, the same one I've seen reignite energy, restore confidence, and bring back stronger, fuller performance in men well past the age of 60. This solution is simple, it's natural, and when taken at night, it works in harmony with your body's most powerful healing cycle. Today, let's talk about vitamin D3, the one nutrient that can completely change the game simply by adjusting when you take it. Over the last 30 years of working with men, I've noticed a pattern that repeats itself again and again. A man in his late 60s or early 70s walks into my office. On the outside, he's sharp, energetic, still living life to the fullest. But deep down, he's carrying a burden he can't quite put into words. His energy is fading, his sleep is broken, and in the bedroom, he feels like a shadow of the man he once was. Sometimes he blames age, sometimes stress. But in reality, it's often something much simpler. He's missing vitamin D3. You've probably heard of it before, often called the sunshine vitamin. Most people take it in the morning with their coffee and forget about it. But here's the truth. Timing is everything. When you take D3 in the morning, your body doesn't use it for what really matters. Hormone repair, blood vessel, restoration, and cellular recovery. Why? Because those processes don't happen during the day. They happen at night while you sleep. When taken before bed, vitamin D3 doesn't just sit in your system, it goes to work. It stimulates luteinizing hormones, signaling your body to naturally boost testosterone while you rest. It supports melatonin, helping you slip into deeper, more restorative sleep. And most importantly, it increases nitric oxide, the molecule that allows blood to flow into the penis and stay there naturally without pressure, without pills. I had a patient named Harris, a 68-year-old retired contractor. A strong, tough man, yet he admitted he hadn't had a firm erection in over a year. I ran his labs, and sure enough, his D3 levels were far below optimal. I didn't prescribe testosterone. I didn't hand him a pill. All I told him was, this: take 2,000 IU of vitamin D3 every night before bed for 30 days. That's it, and it changed everything. On day 21, he called me. His voice was trembling, almost unsure of what he was about to say. "Doc, this morning I woke up hard just like I used to. I didn't think that was possible anymore." That's the power of a single vitamin taken at the right time. Vitamin D3 doesn't just lay the foundation for energy and stronger erections. It restores something far more important, a man's confidence in himself. But then comes the real question. What happens when the desire is there, but the body still won't respond. That's where the story gets even more interesting. George's story. From flat to firm in just 3 weeks, George was 68 years old, a man who had spent his entire life building homes with his bare hands. He was the type who showed up early, worked hard, kept quiet, and never complained. But when he sat across from me in my office, his eyes told a story he couldn't hide. He looked down, cleared his throat, and said softly, "Doc, I don't feel like a man anymore." Those words hit hard. I've heard them countless times, and they never get easier. George wasn't sick. His heart was healthy, his blood sugar was steady, and his weight was fine. But he was exhausted all the time. His sleep was restless, his energy drained by midday. And in the most intimate part of his life, he admitted it had been more than a year since he felt truly connected to his wife physically or emotionally. "I'm still attracted to her," he said, "but nothing happens, nothing wakes up." When we ran his labs, the answer was right there. His vitamin D3 levels were dangerously low. Instead of prescribing testosterone or medication, I gave him a simple plan. Take 2,000 IU of vitamin D3 every night before bed. Don't skip it, don't rush it, just trust the process. He wasn't convinced at first, but he agreed. And by the end of the first week, George returned with a new light in his eyes. His sleep was deeper, and for the first time in years, he felt his body beginning to recharge. By the end of the first week, George had stopped waking up 3 or 4 times a night. By the second week, his morning fog had lifted, and he had enough energy to start taking daily walks again. But it was the third week that truly changed everything. When he walked back into my office, he stood taller, his eyes brighter, and he smiled with a quiet confidence. "Doc," he said, "I woke up hard this morning, and this time it wasn't a fluke." He told me he felt like he'd finally come back online. What struck me most wasn't just the physical change, it was the way he carried himself. There was strength in his step, calm power in his voice, and renewed confidence in his presence. And remember, all we changed was one simple habit. One vitamin, one dose, one nightly act of self-respect. But here's what might surprise you. George's story is far more common than you think. And there's an even deeper reason why this vitamin works so well, something most men have never been told. Let's explore that. Why most men are deficient and don't even know it. You'd be amazed how many men walk into my office looking healthy on the outside, only to discover their bodies are running on empty inside. And the deficiency I see more than any other is vitamin D3. I've seen it in athletes, retired police officers, teachers, fathers, grandfathers, men who spent a lifetime being strong for everyone else, yet never stopped to ask themselves, what does my body need to keep going like this? Here's the truth, by the time most men reach 60, their D3 levels have dropped dangerously low. Not because they did something wrong, but simply because life changed. You're no longer outside all day. Maybe you moved to a place with less sunlight. Maybe your skin doesn't absorb light the way it used to. Or maybe you were told to avoid the sun to protect your skin. Whatever the reason, your body is now missing a nutrient it once received daily from natural sunlight. And that absence begins to take its toll in silence. The problem is, most men have no idea they're deficient. They feel tired and blame aging. Their erections weaken and they blame stress. Their sleep suffers and they chalk it up to just getting older. And so the cycle continues. Even worse, many men who actually do take vitamin D3 make one critical mistake. They take it in the morning. On the surface, that might not seem like a big deal. But in reality, it is the worst possible timing. In the morning, your body is in stress mode. Cortisol levels are high, your nervous system is on full alert, and your energy is focused on survival, not repair. So when you swallow that vitamin with your coffee, much of its potential is wasted. At night, however, everything changes. That's when your body shifts into healing mode. Hormones rebuild blood vessels, repair testosterone rises. And this is when vitamin D3 becomes a powerful catalyst, not just for recovery, but for true transformation. That's why so many men experience dramatic results when they simply switch their D3 to nighttime deeper sleep, more energy throughout the day, and yes, natural stronger erections returning after months, sometimes even years. If timing is everything, what should you expect once you finally get it right? The answer might surprise you. Let me walk you through it night by night in a 30-day timeline of how your body begins to restore itself. Most men don't realize just how quickly the body can heal once it finally gets what it's been craving. I've had patients come back after only a few nights of taking vitamin D3 at bedtime, astonished by the changes they are already noticing. And make no mistake, this isn't magic. It's biology. Real, measurable, and incredibly powerful once the right conditions are in place. Night 1, something subtle begins. As D3 enters your system during sleep, it starts supporting your body's natural production of melatonin. This means you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and reach the deeper stages of restorative rest, where testosterone and growth hormone are created. You may not feel it right away, but your body is already working behind the scenes. By night 7, many men tell me they're waking up refreshed for the first time in years. They're no longer dragging themselves out of bed, their minds are clearer, and their energy lasts well into the afternoon. One patient even told me, "Doc, it's the first time in months I've made it through an entire day without needing a nap." That's when I know the vitamin is truly doing its job. By night 14, the changes become more noticeable. Your mood begins to lift, your interest in intimacy returns. Some men even report gentle morning erections, just enough to remind them of what it used to feel like. Sleep becomes more consistent, aches and pains start to fade. At this point, you're no longer just getting through the day, you're actually showing up for it. By day 21, your body begins settling into its new rhythm. Circulation improves, the blood vessels that support erections respond more easily. You feel more awake in your body, more present in your relationships, and more alive in your own skin. By day 30, something powerful clicks. For many men, this is the moment they look in the mirror and say, "I feel like myself again." But here's what's even more fascinating. Vitamin D3 doesn't work in isolation. In fact, its effects can be amplified dramatically when you pair it with a few simple bedtime habits that most men never even think about. The bedtime boost. Small habits that supercharge results. Over the years, I've learned that even the most powerful vitamin needs the right environment to unlock its full potential. Think of vitamin D3 like a key. It has the power to open the door to healing and performance, but only if that door isn't jammed shut by poor habits. That's why I always tell my patients, if you really want to wake up energized, sleep deeper, and feel more alive, don't just take the vitamins, support it. One of the simplest yet most overlooked ways to do that is this: shut off all screens, TVs, phones, tablets, at least 30 minutes before bed. It might sound basic, but blue light from screens suppresses melatonin, the hormone that signals your body it's time to wind down. And without melatonin, rising testosterone and nitric oxide, both of which depend on deep sleep, can't fully be produced. I'll never forget George. When he added just this one habit, no screens after 9 p.m., his results became even more powerful, and the transformation came faster than either of us expected. George once told me, "Doc, my sleep feels like a warm blanket I haven't wrapped around myself in years." Another powerful habit I recommend is this: go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Your body craves rhythm, and when your sleep cycle becomes consistent, everything improves. Hormones balance, blood pressure steadies, and mental clarity sharpens. I'll never forget a man 74 years old who, after just 2 weeks of consistent sleep, told me, "Doc, I feel like I just got 10 years of back in my legs." And then hydration. Don't overlook it. Many men cut off water intake too early, worried they'll be up at night to use the bathroom. But the real secret is this: stay hydrated throughout the day, then taper off in the evening. That way circulation stays smooth, blood vessels remain open, and your body can absorb the vitamin more efficiently as it repairs overnight. These bedtime habits may seem small, but they act like amplifiers. They take what vitamin D3 is already doing and turn up the volume. Together, they create a nighttime environment where healing isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Still, I know many men hesitate. They wonder, am I too old? Is it too late for me? That fear is real. But so is the hope that follows. And here's what I tell every man who thinks his time has passed. Am I too old for this to work? This is the single most common question I hear from men over 60. The words may change, but the meaning is always the same, Doc. I'm not 40 anymore. Maybe I missed my chance. Maybe it's too late for me. I hear that fear. I see the doubt in their eyes, especially from men who've already tried pills, diets, or treatments that promised everything and delivered nothing. But here's what I've learned after more than 30 years in men's health. Your body is always listening, and it never forgets how to heal. I've had men in their 70s, even their 80s, walk into my clinic convinced their best days were behind them. Some hadn't had a full erection in over a year. Some couldn't sleep more than 2 hours without being crushed by fatigue. One man, 76 years old, told me he had completely given up trying. He once told me, "Doc, I figured this is just how it ends." But we started simple, just one vitamin, one small bedtime habit. No pressure, no hype. And within 4 weeks, he called my office, his voice trembling with disbelief. "Doc, it worked. I woke up this morning like I was 25 again." That's not exaggeration. That's pure physiology. Because when you support your body at night, when testosterone, nitric oxide growth, hormone, and circulation naturally rise, you are not forcing anything. You're simply stepping out of the way and allowing your body to do exactly what it was designed to do. So to every man who asks me if it's too late, the answer is simple. No, it's never too late. You're not broken, you're not past your prime, you're just under-supported. And once you give your body the right tools, even after years of silence, it can come roaring back to life. The key is to believe that your body hasn't forgotten you, and more importantly, not to forget it. Now let me show you the exact type of vitamin D3 I recommend, how to take it safely, and the one common mistake that ruins its effectiveness. Stay with me, because this last step is the key to making everything else work. The right vitamin the right way. By now you've seen how powerful one vitamin can be when taken correctly, especially for men over 60. But here's something crucial. Not all vitamin D3 is created equal. I've seen too many good men waste months taking the wrong type or using it incorrectly only to walk away thinking it doesn't work. Don't let that happen to you. Here's what you need to know. 1. Make sure you're taking vitamin D3, not plain vitamin D. D3 is the active form your body can actually use. Anything less requires conversion inside the body, and that process slows dramatically after 60. 2. Always pair D3 with vitamin K2. Why? Because while D3 helps calcium absorb without K2, that calcium can end up in the wrong places like your arteries. K2 acts like a traffic director, sending calcium to your bones where it belongs, keeping your blood vessels flexible, your circulation strong, and your erections more reliable. For most men over 60, a daily dose of 2,000 to 5,000 IU is both safe and effective. But remember, the real magic isn't just in the dosage, it's in the timing. Take it at night just before bed, ideally, with a small serving of healthy fat, a spoonful of almond butter, a few walnuts, or even a slice of avocado. This simple step helps your body absorb it more efficiently, and as you sleep, it gets to work supporting hormonal repair, vascular function, and deep restorative rest. So let's bring it all together. You've learned that just one nutrient, vitamin D3, can reignite your energy, restore stronger erections, and give you deeper sleep than you've had in years. You've seen how most men are deficient without realizing it. You've walked through the 30-day healing timeline night by night. You've discovered the simple bedtime habits that take good results and make them great. And most importantly, you've been reminded of this truth: it is never too late. This isn't the end. This is a reset. One vitamin, one decision, one small nightly habit that can restore your vitality, rebuild your confidence, and give you back the man you thought you had lost. I've witnessed this transformation countless times. Now it's your turn.